Hey, welcome back, guys. Welcome back to Who the Cares? You care. That's who cares. I care. I care. Um, uh, glorious day today. Thanksgiving has recently passed. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. I was so thankful that I didn't get to work on Thursday because DoorDash was down. Um, well, basically, there were some regions where people could work and other ones where they couldn't. If I wanted to work, I would have had to go 2 hours away, and I'm like, that's not worth it. I'm just gonna rest, relax, and like regardless from there was no like resting or relaxing. To be honest, it was it was chilling with my kids. So today's my daughter's birthday. Woo! She is 3 years old, and it makes me feel old. I'm not old. I'm 25. I got plenty of time ahead of me, and even when my kids are out of my house, I'm gonna be early 40s. So I got plenty of time. There's no oh, you're old. I'm not old. I'm 25, quarter century. Should I go through my midlife crisis right now? So because sometimes that's what I think. Sometimes my mind likes to tell me, "Dang, you're getting old," or like I'll look at the lines under my eyes and I'm like, "Dang, I'm getting old." Like, but what am I gonna say when I'm like 30? Like, age is just a number. It's really about the way that you think, and I'm not gonna let myself think that way. But with my daughter's birthday coming up and all that, I'm focused on one making sure that she has a nice happy birthday and that she kind of starts understanding what her birthday is. It's like, hey, today's November 25th. It's your birthday. What does that mean? That doesn't necessarily mean like presents, like that you're a year older, because technically you're only a day older. I can't teach her like philosophical things or stuff like complicated stuff right now because she's only 3. But I can start thinking about it, and basically that's what I've been doing the past couple of days. Like, how, because right now she's going, or she's mellowing out, but she's been going through, um, basically just fits, constant temper tantrums and all of that. And I expected it. Like, she's always been the type of kid who likes to, well, not likes to, but she tends to flip out randomly about the most minute thing. But to her, it's a huge thing. It's a huge deal. Her brother on the flip side is like completely different. So they're two different kids. You get a different experience with every one of them. But she's definitely one of those, the finicky, the picky. She's very cautious. It's adorable, but at the same time, it's very nerve wracking, especially right now with her, really in the phase where she doesn't want to do anything you tell her to do. And it's not necessarily that we tell her. We don't tell her what to do. Granted, like, hey, it's bedtime. You're going to bed. I don't care. Like, what you think. You can't stay up. You're going to pass out on the floor. Like, no. Like, you're going to go and you're going to sleep in your bed. And she throws a massive fit pretty much every night for that. I try to deter it with something that she wants to do, or like I'll tell her, it's like, hey, if you're good, we'll read a book and then you'll go to bed. But recently that has not worked. It has not been the icing on the cake for every night. But she is starting to mellow out a lot more. I'm trying to give her as much attention as I can, regardless of the fact that I've been I've been really focusing hard on my work, and I think that's probably what made her fits even more outrageous. Where it'd be something simple like I give her sippy cup, and she's like, no, no, and she just freaks out. Excuse me, and she just freaks out, and it's ridiculous. Um, but like, especially with me working all the time, it's stressful because I want to be here and I want to be able to give her the attention she needs when she's going through these phases, regardless of it being a phase or not. It's her basically learning that she can say no to things and questioning why, and like, I understand that. I'm perfectly okay with her expressing herself, but it still stresses me out. I think any parent could attest to that. Even someone who's not a parent, who's like dealing in childcare. That sounds weird. But who's in childcare, who deals with kids on a daily basis, or even someone who's not a kid, someone who's dealing with like someone who has a disability, stuff like that. Like it's life. It's a part of life. You'll always have like those moments, those people, and you have to adjust to it. So that's basically what I'm doing. I'm adjusting to really her changes in mood and attitude, in just personality overall. One of the things that I've noticed is she loves to color, and I don't want to think she gets it from me, but I am very artistic. I love to draw. I love to create. Granted, I don't always have the time to do it. It's well, not even that. It's I don't have the time that I want to do it. I would love to sit down hours and hours and hours on end and draw, but I can't do that. But she's to the point to where it's like we like to be downstairs to supervise her with the crayons, because otherwise she will draw on the walls, and she already has even while we were down there. Like, she's sneaky. It's funny because she's like a little ninja with it, but I'm like, we're missing a crayon, Luna, what are you doing? And then I'll find the evidence on the walls, and she'll have the crayon behind her back, and it's like, okay, yeah, no, you gotta sit at the table, you know. But the biggest thing right now is probably just getting her own little space, or her own little area to draw and color at. The only problem with that is right now, because her brother is still very young, we can't just have it out in the open to where she can just color and do whatever, because he'll get a hold of it, he'll start chewing on crayons, and we definitely don't want that. So I'm at the point to where I want to help her grow in what she really likes. Like, if she likes to color, I want her to color as much as possible. If she wants to look at like books, if she wants to look at cards, if she wants to watch a particular YouTuber or whatever, which she actually expressed to me not too long ago, which is, so one of the things that people try to convince me that I'm gonna regret it, is once they actually start talking and communicating. And I'm over here like, look, no, it's been this way since before I had them, where I'm like, I want them to get to a phase where we can have a conversation, regardless of whether or not they're going to backtalk me when they're like 12, 13, 14, or even till, the end of time. It's whatever. They're individuals. They're little people. It's gonna happen. Like, I expect all of this, like, and even with the temper tantrums, I expect them. But I will tell you, it is a lot more difficult to figure out how to deal with a tantrum when you don't necessarily know what it is they want or don't want, because they don't say it, or the way that they express it, I don't understand, And I can't expect to know everything. Like, some things are simple, some things aren't. It's like, hey, I give you mac and cheese, but it's like, oh no, I didn't want mac and cheese. I wanted like, she might have wanted something else. She might have wanted a sandwich, or a particular kind of sandwich. I don't know. Like, unless she says that, And the biggest thing with that is, she could say it or she could show it, but when it comes down to the tantrums where it's like, hey, I gave them mac and cheese, they didn't want mac and cheese, they're not telling me what they want instead, they're just freaking out. It's like, oh, okay, well, let me try something else. And the next that doesn't work. And it's the effort of it. And it's just like, oh, it drags. It drags your mood down, because it's like, I thought I was getting you something that you would have liked, that you would have wanted to eat. And then at the end of the day, it just kind of crushes your feelings with that. So parenting is it's hard. It's fun. It's fun. It's definitely fun when you get those little moments where it's like, where they do say no sometimes, where they say no to something in particular, and it's like, okay, well, I'm kind of understanding you a little bit better, or you're just proud, because, like, when she started the no phase, like, yeah, there was worry there, but at the same time, I was like, dang, like, this is full bloom. She's straight up becoming a person and telling me what she wants and what she doesn't want. That is amazing. Like, I'm happy about that. I love that. It's just great to see them grow, and then the biggest thing of it is just me thinking about like how I impact them. I guess that's where the I can't speak, the big amount of stress, large amount of stress comes from. Oh my God, can I English today? Can I? uh, but you know what I'm saying. But just all the stress is just from one. I can't always be here. The best way for me to be here right now is for me to make money, and and aside from that, I love it. Like I love being out and I love working. Um, and it's something I have a passion for. And I want my kids to know that. I want them to know, hey, it's not like I'm leaving just to leave you. I'm leaving so we can have a good life, so I can get you guys things that you may want in the future. So I can give you like the nice clothes, or the nice bed, and stuff like that. Um, and aside from that, just I want them to know that passion and doing things that you love is important, regardless of what anybody says. One of the things with me that's been a running theme for, I don't want to say the past however months, but for a long time, since I was young, where it's just like where people constantly doubt you and doubt your passions and doubt what you want to do. And one of the things I'm kind of dealing with is what I've noticed in the past, like for example, with my sister, she would um she would kind of like really disrupt the things that I was doing. Like she'd like really just be very negative towards me when she's trying to like kind of teach me a lesson, whatever it may be, and it was not the right approach. Um and aside from that, it basically like it didn't kill my passion. And what I'm referring to, my passion being art. My passions never went away. I've never wanted it to go away. I have definitely had moments where I've gone months, um, or even like a year. I'd say a year, but like I kind of draw a little bit in between. But I'll just consider it a year, 2 years, whatever, where I was just not consistently working on my art. Where any time that I'd start working on it, I'd get that inspiration. It would quickly just be swept under the rug by how I felt, where like just immediately it wasn't really regret, it was just self-doubt. And I'd refer back to all of the emotions that I was dealing with at the time when people weren't supporting me, like not supporting me in a financial sense, but supporting me in just being there, or telling me, hey, you're doing a good job, or stuff like that. um and for me in particular, it didn't work for me whenever, and it doesn't work for me whenever people try to challenge me to be like, oh, well, you should do this to prove to. No, I don't want to prove anything to anybody except for myself. That's the only person I want to prove something to. And I don't even you don't even necessarily have to do that. You just do it. That's it. That's all there is to it. Just do it and enjoy what you love doing. You don't have to prove anything to anybody. And that's one of the things that I'm learning in particular when it comes to myself. And a lot of people. One of the I constantly have like debates with I'll call him my half dad, uh about like just my work and everything I'm doing, and stuff like that, and just like life in general. But the thing that came up was basically what I'm doing right now. So basically I'm working for myself right now. Like I'm contracted under a delivery service, and then I'm also flipping stuff on eBay, and then I also do my art. Um, so I already have like a plan in process for the next couple weeks. I'm like, for this, I'm gonna do like within the next week. I'm gonna do this because there's this time frame, and all that. I'm focusing on the micro, but also the macro of it is like, okay, where do I want to be in 5 years? I know everything takes time, and I'm perfectly fine with that. I'm perfectly fine with taking the time for that. But the biggest thing was, he had brought up to me, or he said to me rather, his statement was, I'm never gonna have time to do my art, or rather, my art is never gonna become uh, a full-time income for me. And the reason why that strikes me is, it's like, first off, uh, you can't predict the future, so that is not a fact. That is an opinion. And you can't say it's a statement either, because it's just not true. Because it's not up to you whether I put the time in or not. It's not up to you, um, whether I succeed or not. Like for me, it could even be putting in a couple hours a week where I'm just like, that's enough for me. Like maybe 5 years down the line, I don't actually want that to be like one of my full time incomes or whatever. I might just want it to be a side hobby. I might not even want to make money doing it. Um, so I'm not even saying that I'm gonna do it. Like if I really, really want to do something, I'm gonna do it at the end of the day. But one of the things is he's going through the thing where his daughter is almost she's almost an adult. So she's almost out of high school. She's got like another year and a half left or whatever. Um, but like he's going through this thing where he's distancing himself from her, and they're button heads like all the time. And like I see it, and then I look back onto my perspective from when I was a teenager, and like versus the things that would happen and stuff like that. And I'm like, well, one, she's also like me and my sister talk a lot. So she tells me how she feels, and it's just like there's a big sign of like miscommunication between the both of them, and like just distrust, and the typical teenager stuff, and then also the protective dad stuff. So like I understand where both of them are coming from, but at the same time I think a lot of it has to do with both of their prides, and just being one wanting to live their life and the other one wanting to protect the other. And it's understandable, that's a part of life. Like you'll always not want your kid to grow up, and you'll always want to protect them, and then you'll want to grow up when you're the younger one. So like how it is. That's life. Everybody is going on a different path, and when one is trying to teach another when they don't want to learn, it's difficult. Like someone can tell you, oh, I've done this, I know how the outcome is going to be, but that doesn't mean that the other person is going to even listen to it, acknowledge it, and do it. Like they might want to go through the life experience themselves. I know personally that's how I am, that's how I was, where even though someone tells me, oh well, this was the outcome that I had for this, I'm still gonna try. Like I may not succeed, but I also might not do it the same exact way that they did it. And whether I succeed or fail, the biggest part of it is, do I regret it? Do I regret not doing it? I guess that's the biggest thing. Because for me, I've done a lot of, I think a lot of people have done a lot of things in the past where some people would think, oh, they regret it. Or like that, you did something that you probably regret. No, like nothing that I did in my life, I regret. At a certain point I did where it was like, oh dang, I shouldn't have did that, or like I'll dwell on it. But the more that I look back and the more I self-reflected, the more I appreciate everything that I did, and every experience that I came across, because at the end of the day, if I didn't go through any of that, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be the person that I am. It's like, yeah, for instance, going through heartbreak because it was a really shitty relationship is shitty, and you want to be able to tell that person, hey, I see these signs, you shouldn't be doing this, you shouldn't be with this person. At the same time, that person has to go through that's the biggest thing. They don't have to go through it. There's let me word that in a way to where it's not, oh, you have to go through like an abusive relationship or whatever. You don't have to go through that. No one should ever go through that. I think it's wrong whenever someone puts someone in that situation where they're the abuser, and they purposely do certain things to make someone like think a certain way, do a certain thing just so they can have their benefit. I don't think that's okay. What I'm saying is when someone's going through something and they're in a stage where literally no one can help them, no matter what they say, what they do, that person has to come to the realization that what they're in is horrible, and they need to get out of that. And some people learn that from listening. Some people learn it from seeing it. Some people learn it from actually being in it. There's different ways to learn things, and I don't think someone should be punished or looked down upon, or should be seen in a certain light because they learn things differently, or they were stuck in something for so long. while other people were telling them, oh, well, I told you so. It's like, well, it's not about your self-gratification. It's about that person overcoming something. Like, it doesn't matter how they overcome it, whether they reach out to friends, whether they reach out to a professional, whether they reach out to the law, or they just reach into themselves. It doesn't matter how someone learns something, as long as they learn something, move on from it, and become a better person, and know their boundaries, know what they can do, what they can't do, what they want, and move forward. And a lot of people aren't for that. A lot of people aren't happy when they can't control the way that someone else is going through something. And it's unfortunate on both sides, because it's like, I understand that person wants to help the other person so bad, and no matter what they do, it just either it makes it worse, or it does nothing at all, and they just feel they feel hopeless about it. I understand that, and their feelings are justified. Their feelings are valid. I understand that completely. But on the flip side, that other person doesn't, what's sad is the other person doesn't see that someone's trying to help them. But it's still their life. So they live it the way that they want to live it. And I think that's the important thing that both sides should understand. Sometimes a situation can stop from being escalated just by taking someone else's advice. And other times, by letting the person go through whatever they need to go through, and not trying to like bombard them with things, is also important. It also helps with the situation, because you don't have to put so much on yourself, and you let that other person go through the motions. So it's situational. That's all it is. Everything is situational. You can't assume that something's going to go one way or something's going to go another way. You have to step back, look at the whole situation, even look at where you're coming from the other person's perspective, and go from there. That's basically all you can do with certain things. Like, I'm going through a lot of that, like, right now. It's horrible. But it's always important to just keep truck through everything, or bulldoze through everything, and just keep doing you. Don't take what other people say for granted. Don't take other people for granted, and do the best that you can for yourself and for everyone around you. That's the biggest thing that I can say, especially from what is going on with me, probably going on with a lot of other people. You're always going to have people who are going to try to stop you from doing what you want to do, or they're going to tell you doing it this way isn't right. And if you feel that the way that you're doing it is right, keep trying. And remember that at the end of the day, if you fail, you don't necessarily have to stop trying. You can stop trying and go for something else. There's nothing wrong with that. Or you can try to find other ways to still get it done. There's always options, and you're important. No matter what everyone else around you is telling you, you're important. Your ideas are important. Your values are important. Everything that you want to do in life is important. And I believe that you can do anything that you put your mind to, as long as you put your body into it. You do it. You put your body into action, put it into work. Like, if you want to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. If you can't because you're going to bed at 12 o'clock in the morning, well, go to bed earlier. Why aren't you going to bed earlier? Just question what you're doing. How do you want to get things done? If you want to do this, find ways to get it done. That's it. And you don't have to prove anything to anybody. You just got to do it. All right, guys. I appreciate y'all listening. Again, I hope y'all had a happy Thanksgiving. I'm so thankful for all of you. I'm thankful for my family. I'm thankful for the work that I'm doing, the people who allow me to do the work that I'm doing, everyone who supports me, everyone who I support. Everyone's amazing. You're all awesome. And I will see you guys again next week. Peace out.